Now, here are some tips for breaking par.
I'm Brian Newman, Bird Golf Academy instructor. We've got a great series coming up to breaking 90. All right, so we've done our job by hitting that good second shot, and we've gotten within 40 yards of the green. So now what am I presented with? Again, my goal of breaking 90 is if I can play around bogey golf, I got a pretty good shot. So on this par 4, this is where my ball ended up. There's the pin. The first check down we're going to use, the easiest way, is going to be to putt. Putter really isn't designed to roll the ball through rough terrain. So if I use my hybrid, I'm gonna get a little more pop to the ball, it's gonna rise in the air and it's gonna roll. This is an easy way to do my job in this area, which is to put myself in a place that I can most likely two-putt. So we're gonna stand this thing up just like our putter. We're gonna choke down, as you can see, for me to be able to do that. And you can really see how I'm tilted forward in this position where it looks like my putting stance. My eyes are fairly close to over the ball. I'm gonna set up to it. Normal putting stroke. So you can see there, I'm in a really great spot to be able to two-putt. You're gonna surprise yourselves and even get up and down sometimes. But let's move to check down 2, the 8-iron. It's gonna let me carry this a little bit further and remove some of the breaks that we see on this green. What we're gonna do here is this 8-iron shot is in between what we did with our hybrid in a putting motion and what we would call kind of a standard chipping motion, all right? So we are gonna stand the shaft up, not nearly as much as the putter, all right? We're gonna have the feet fairly narrow, and the feet are narrow so I can do what we call lean to the green. So what you'll see here is my upper body, my sternum, right, my neck and everything are getting right over this lead hip. That's to allow the low point to get in front of the golf ball. So we wanna lean to the green. The ball's in the middle of the stance because my lean is what then creates that little bit of shaft lean. And what's key here is we're not looking at the flag. That's not where we're gonna land it. Where is my landing point in front of me, right? At about 30% of the way. My hybrid rolled most of the way, and now I'm using an 8-iron. This is gonna land at about 30% and roll about 70% of the way. So let's go ahead and execute our check down 2 method here. I'm gonna lean to the green, short little stroke. Let it get up there about 30% in the air and then roll the rest of the way. Again, keeping it close to the ground, check down 2, a great way to put myself in a position to be able to two-putt, easy tap in bogey, or again, you may surprise yourself and sink that putt for par. So we can't putt it with the hybrid. The 8-iron's out of the equation because if I fly this 30%, I'm in the bunker. Time to go to number 3. And this is gonna be a shot that we're gonna look to keep in the air about 50% of the time, and then on the ground, the remaining 50%. So what we're gonna go to is something like your gap wedge, a 52 degree, something along those lines. Okay, so I've got a 54 here, that's kind of my gap wedge. And I know where I need to land this, about 50%. So the technique now starts to move a little more towards a traditional wedge shot. I've got my stance still pretty narrow. We still lean to the green. So my sternum here, my neck, my nose, everything's in front of the ball to promote a down strike and a low point forward. And this is now my little pivot point, right? If my lower body needs to work a little bit, we're gonna let it come along for the ride to create the right amount of energy. So I've got my spot there. I'll make a few practice swings. That gives us a nice feel, lets us test distance, and then we'll go ahead and execute. All right, so not only did I give myself a chance for an easy 2-putt, but again, I'm gonna make some of those for a 1-putt sometimes, make pars, and make it easy to break 90. So we're at check down 4. I've gotta go up in the air. This is when I bring in my highest lofted wedge, and we're looking for about a 70% carry, 30% ground. My goal though, keep in mind, set myself up for a 2-putt. I don't need to be a hero. All right, the technique here stays the same. You can see we're just scaling it up. I'm gonna lean to the green, right? You'll see my shoulders are pretty level. Sternum over the lead leg gives me that nice pivot point when we gotta make sure that's looking good. All right, I got my spot picked out, a few practice swings. Let's get this on the green for a nice 2-putt. And go ahead and get out of here, right? 2-putt, easy bogey. Use these 4 check downs until you have to get to step 4. Keep it simple, go through your list, and I guarantee it's gonna be the easiest way to break 90.